Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick.
Ancient apparition.
Radiant team pick.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to what should be our final match of StarLadder Europe for the day. Of course, I'm your host, LD of Beyond the Summit. I'm joined here today by Mr. Hippie himself. Hippie, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, man. First game was kind of awkward, but still a good time, and happy to still be here. This game should be pretty solid.
There were a lot of pauses, it was a little disjointed, but Cloud9 did take it in the end. Coming up next, we have our final match of the day. It's Sigma versus the Alliance. Huge match for both teams. Right now, Sigma, despite all the scandals, all the controversy that was swirling around the team a week ago, they're 7-2 in StarLadder. They actually could end up on top of Alliance in the group standings before it's all said and done. 10-3 Alliance sits in a very comfortable position right now, but not 100% secure yet. So if Sigma take this game, they have the inside track. It's still possible they could finish first in the groups. Not saying they will, but it could happen. So a big match for both teams. And before we hop into the draft, we'll quickly just look through the rosters as well as some of the heroes they've been playing lately. For Sigma, we've seen a lot of Bane out of them. No surprises there. They've been running quite a bit of offlane Beastmaster as well. I think we've seen Fada take it mid once or twice. Actually, I think they've been running it mid mostly. The offlane bat for Mega, not too surprising. And from there, it's pretty standard. And as for the Alliance, looking swag in those gray jackets, but yeah, I have not gotten to cast too much Alliance myself, so this will be edifying for me. They've been running a lot of Ake Chen, no surprises. Actually, 5 Bane picks in StarLadder Europe. That's more than I would have expected. And, well, with that being said, it's time to hop ourselves inside the draft, guys. This will be your final match of the day for StarLadder Europe. So we go ahead and we'll bring the draft up right now. And on the Dire side, we've got Team Sigma, on the Radiant, Team Alliance. In terms of the draft, pretty standard stuff. The Naga ban make a little more sense this game, since it's something we have seen Alliance run quite a bit. I've seen Loda. Loda was taking it mid. I'm not sure if anyone else has been playing it for them, but the Naga gets banned. Lycan, despite all the complaint about Ember Spirit, actually has a 66% win rate in this version in 120 games and change, so very strong hero, arguably the most broken hero in the patch. Everyone's crying to nerf Ember, but I think it's Lycan who needs the nerf ban. The stats are with him, but yeah, first overall pick, Ancient Apparition, then your Nyx and Veno, and I've been talking for a while, sorry about that, Chris, but yeah, what do you think of the draft so far, buddy?
I like the fact that the Centaur has made it through. He's always a fun hero to watch. I'm a little surprised Invoker made it to the second phase. I mean, he's someone we occasionally see banned out first phase. He's often first or second pick material. But, you know, makes it through to second phase. Alliance snags him for S4. And as far as just quickly, the Sigma Alliance, the matchup in general, the group stages, I think that StarLadder's format, the round-robin best of ones, really actually serves Sigma quite well. I've always thought of them as a very, very good best of one team because they are superb at catching their opponents off guard with some weird drafts, maybe some weird options that people haven't considered. And they tend to do very, very well in these round robins, but maybe not necessarily hold it together when you get to best of 3 eliminations.
Yeah, I agree. They're very strong in the best of one format, where maybe they catch you off guard with the draft, or they just run their signature style. In like a BO3, which we saw actually at the last StarLadder LAN finals, they run what's good for them, and then Navi just completely counters it, and in some ways just outplays them. And that's where maybe they take the one game, but can they actually take the series? So they didn't even take the one game in that particular match. But it'll be a Luna coming out for Alliance, just the de facto safe, solid carry of the month for this version. And I guess it looks to be probably the... Is this an off-lane Nyx for Admiral Bulldog, I assume? And then a support Veno, and then they'll need Ake's hero? Or is this a support Nyx, do you think?
I think the offlane Nyx is a little more powerful in this patch, but I think we'll figure out once we see what Sigma's trialing is going to be. That's when they'll decide whether or not they can put the Nyx offlane or whether they need something a little bit more safe. But I think they would probably like to throw the Nyx offlane and get him some experience. And again, against a Shadow Shaman and an AA, that's a tall order, man. It's very, very hard to survive against those two supports, especially if you begin, oh, well, they're with a Spectre, maybe they can get away with it. That's not really the most aggressive of carries.
Yeah, this is where they've gone early Ancient Apparition, and it's like, you need something like that to get away with the Spectre, I feel. Like, just probably the strongest level 1 laning support in the game right now. Maybe up there with heroes like Venomancer, but Alliance might look at this and say, like, we'd love to contest this in some way, but we have to go aggressive against Ancient Apparition. Sure, there's a Shadow Shaman there, not the strongest in the early levels, but it's going to be risky. And that's also where Nyx, any offlaner, struggles, is just against the Chilling Touch. Like, you come in your creep experience, and sure, you might not die, but just a few auto attacks. You gotta south up, you gotta use all your tangos, and you're not having fun. So, Sigma, offlane Centaur, probably defends the Trailing Spectre, and then that would leave them needing Spada's here, and that's where Alliance will go ahead. They'll ban out the Puck. They also ban the Ember, the Viper as well, so at least 3 Fada-targeted bans. I guess they could have run a safe lane Viper though, but yeah, the ban out Fada's go-to here on the Puck. He was just sensational on the Puck yesterday, and we'll see what he plays instead. What do you think they're gonna go for Fada here?
Well, when you have to match up against the Invoker, it's a tough matchup basically for anybody at this point, just because Quaswex Invoker with the EMP is pretty nasty. There's a lot of squishy heroes on that team. You might, I mean, she's really not in favor at the moment. You might be able to get away with the Queen of Pain, just because you can get a lot of the burst going right there. It's going to be a Zeus though, so it is going to be burst. It's not quite what I was thinking of.
It's the... We've got your Ice Blast, your Sector Haunt, the Global Centaur Stampede, and then the Thunder God himself, in the hands of Fada, the capable hands of Fada, I should say, taking his talents to the mid lane. Oh boy, this is gonna be good. Popcorn's ready, guys. Let's get into the game. We got our overlays up. We're good to go. Again, if you're just joining us, I saw some people were wondering who's casting with me. He is Hippie. He's been doing some casting with Zyori in the past. More recently, he's been casting a lot with Join Dodo, with Capitalist, so he is Hippie if you're wanting. I'm, of course, LD, but it's Alliance vs Sigma. Mass Global against Alliance. Oh boy, if they don't get a lot done in these lanes, it is going to be tough in the mid game for Alliance.
Yeah, I honestly think this has a potential. You know, I was mentioning that Alliance doesn't have a lot of particularly tanky heroes. I think Loda's going to need a very fast BKB. Most heroes in general are going to need to build a lot of extra HP just to try to deal with this. It's going to be vicious, especially if the AA gets some early good experience.
Yeah, that's where Alliance, they can't even really resort to just the Chen Luna combo and just push towers, because they're up against Ancient Apparition. So sure, you get an early mech, sure you've got Hand of God. If he's well positioned and has his ult early, they can't even resort to 5-manning, and then you're in a pickle. You got a 5-man, you don't want to spread out against Global, but if you do, you're going to struggle. So, well, with that being said, we'll see how the lanes develop. They will be key here for both teams, especially for the Alliance, I feel. And on the Dire side, we've got Team Sigma 7-2, inside shot to finish first through the group stage if they win out. Sakshka will be playing the Spectre. You've got Miguel on the offlane Centaur. Fada will be taking up the role of the Zeus, the little midget god that could pass the Ancient Apparition. And that does leave Mad or 10. I don't know what the significance of this 10 is. We were actually debating it yesterday, but he'll be on the Shadow Shaman.
30 seconds to battle.
I have no idea what the 10 is. I could make bad jokes about Sigma Gate, but
let's not go there.
Actually, I will say that in the studio, I was very impressed with how he handled himself there. So I got a lot of props for him.
Yeah, I felt like he didn't try to deny that they had messed up, and that's the worst thing you could do in a situation like that. If you're like, no, we didn't do anything wrong, you know, he would have been torn to pieces on the show as well, just by the chat. So, well,
Sorry, go ahead.
I
was just gonna say, you know, when he said, you know, we screwed up, but as soon as admin's decision was do this, we went with it. I think that's the only mindset you can have in a competitive game. You have to take every advantage you can get, no matter what.
Double damage.
Wow, they failed on the D ward. They were expecting like the standard ward over here, but it actually got placed around the trees right here. And they're gonna even eat a tree, so they burned a tango, they burned a sentry. Will they get it with the second sentry? Okay, just wants to make extra sure that they haven't just missed this observer. Oh, meanwhile Mad comes in with the DD, just gonna harass S4. We didn't actually introduce the lines yet. I'll do that real quickly. The Bulldog, Raydon, Admiral Raydon on the off-lane Nyx. Solo mid, you've got your S4 Invoker. We're going early EMP Tornado build. You'll have Ake on the Chen, EGM playing the Veno, and then that puts Loda onto the safe lane Luna. So they failed their D ward, and they didn't want to blow the second sentry here. And they're actually just gonna smoke right away. Ake with the early Satyr. Interesting. They do have a Veno
to
here.
go for an early smoke with.
But I think they can actually kill Miguel because they've got the Veno. And a Gale is really strong. You can get like 2-3 shockwaves off before the Gale wears off, I'm guessing. They're not, never mind. They're not going that way.
Yeah.
No, he's going top.
This is odd. Is he maybe just, do you think he wants to rotate into the enemy jungle? No.
That is...
That would be really ballsy. No, he's just going for fodder right here. Maybe to snipe off this mana potion.
We'll wrap around from the backside, and the Zeus could get caught out here with Cold Snap. It'll be your first blood, I think, Fada. Bottling up. It's not enough. Ake delivers yet again. And you see why the Alliance have 5 Chen picks in, like, 12 games of play. Just such a good Chen player. And that's where Zeus solo mid, you gotta play a little more cautiously. Past the river, very low at HP, Fada gets punished.
Yeah, especially when there's a jungler in the game. There's no good way of knowing. I mean, could he be rotating? Could he not be rotating? You're always in danger when there's a Chen, and especially, as you mentioned, when it's Ake. But you know,
they had this observer ward, so they saw Ake run this way, but they didn't see him come back out. And you know, if you don't see him and you've got such a good observer ward, you really need to play it safe. Like, there's only so many places he could be besides smoke. But, well, he'll get punished in the end.
Ake denied off an Invis rune down at bottom, so not interested in trying to get that for anyone. Just doesn't want the Zeus to get his hands on it.
So, looking at the other lanes, Hippie, do you give anyone an edge here? Spectre free farming, Luna free farming. Despite the death for the Zeus, he's still getting okay CS. Got his bottle up, and we'll be working towards the boots now. So, what do you think about the way the lanes are going?
I think Alliance actually needs to take a pretty big advantage of the first 10 or 15 minutes. I think they need to kind of try to slow down the levels coming out from the Ancient Apparition and the Zeus in particular. Obviously, you can't slow down the Zeus forever, but you don't want those level 6s to be coming out quickly from the supports. You don't want it to be coming out and get that global power coming out. So I actually kind of give it in Sigma's favor, especially if it stays kind of passive. I think we need to see a lot of good rotations from Ake similar to that first one for this to work out for Alliance.
Yeah, the Spectre's free farming. He's already up to 1,000 gold. Most likely we'll just see the quick treads or phase boots coming out. And Ake, a good start to his jungle, but with this camp being warded, we don't see a huge stack yet, so he won't have the highly accelerated farm like what we saw out of AUI earlier today. Early boots come out, and no more smokes yet, though. So, looks like he just wants to focus on getting his levels up so they can go for, like, that Chen Luna just timing push around, like, 4 or 5 minutes. Hopefully before Spectre is ult, and definitely before Ancient Apparition does. Speaking of the Ancient Apparition, his camp is available here, but he's only level 2. I think that's my one concern, is they're not getting too many levels on Ancient Apparition, and he's going to be an important part of their global strat later on.
Yeah, especially, you were talking about how you can't really group up, but you can't spread out. Until the AA is 6, you can group up plenty. I mean, you know, they're
right.
Obviously going to be worried, but yeah. So, and as soon as he gets that, you have no good options about how to kind of work things. You just have to hope that Sigma doesn't execute properly.
Ake's just gonna casually pick up a illusion rune here. Meanwhile, bottom lane, the Gale's gone in, and Miguel will stomp the Veno, but that's not gonna be enough. Test of Faith is there, and this will be an early kill. Not gonna transition into the push though, because they don't have the wave with them. Although they do have the catapult, but yeah, doesn't have the 2 creeps yet, so I'm not sure how hard they'll go for this push. Looks like they're just gonna pull it back. He's just going straight mid. He knows he failed on this D ward. He knows he failed on that D ward, but it also means that there's not necessarily a rune ward, right? Because it's blocking the camp. So he feels Ake's just taking advantage of that and saying, you know, I can be more aggressive on these ganks. They probably don't have vision of me, like when I'm actually in the river.
Ooh, Fodder no mana, and his bottle's on its way back out right now.
Uh-oh. I don't know. There won't be a courier snipe here. Early Midas coming out. Oh, wow. Spectre Midas rush. This is very unusual. You do not see many Spectre Midases. is a level-dependent carry. I will say that. So maybe he goes into the woods a little bit. Oh boy, Fada, cold snap. No, he actually bolts the creep. There's no stun. Great play from Fada, but I don't know if it matters. The test of phase isn't quite enough. The tornado, however, is. They get the return kill, though. It is another death for the Zeus here, but at least it's a 1-for-1. Great thinking there. A lot of players would have just thrown out the bolt on the hero, but he bolts the creep, killing it before it can stomp, and unfortunately just wasn't enough in the end.
Yeah, and then also having the presence of mind right after the tornado to throw out that one more nuke to make sure that Ake would go down. It was, I mean, just all around good, solid play from the Zeus. The Spectre Midas, I'm not totally sold on it, but again, we've talked about how powerful the global is. There should be enough space created just by the various ultimates that can go off and just by the possible pressure that Sigma can throw out, the Midas should be able to pay off. But at the same time, I mean, I would like something that would increase the global presence a little bit more. I'd like maybe phase boots, like phase drum radiance.
Yeah, S4 gets caught out mid here, and should be going down to a beam. There's the nuke. So you were saying you would like just like the combat build early a little bit more.
Yeah, because you have all this good global potential once you hit the mid game, and leaving the Spectre out of that, as much as, yeah, you want her to get farmed, you want her to be, you know, a very, very secure late game option, I think you could get a lot of that just by having a little bit more of a combative option. I think, you know, going phase drum to give yourself the ability to fight, and then just transition into a Radiance to add to that global power.
Yeah, that's kind of my feeling, is their lineup's like, oh, we all get 6, let's start getting pickoffs, but, well, Spectre's not getting pickoffs when he's got boots and a Midas. He'll need at least the phase, and like you mentioned, probably the drums as well to follow, so that's where Alliance can look to punish this, just start taking towers. Sure, their Luna has Midas, but Luna can join the fight, so like, she's giving her team the damage aura, she's already got the Bassi up, and is just great at taking early towers with Eclipse, so that's where Alliance can look to punish the Midas. And at this point, they should have seen it on the Spectre, as he's been invisible in the lane, but we'll see how aggressive they get. Bulldog, already level 5, so getting close to his level 6. They pretty much got everything they need to start taking towers. Chen's level 5, 2 Wildkins at the ready. Not the best combo of creeps, but good enough for this push. And they'll rotate Pasa in, but level 3 Ancient Apparition, he ain't stopping it, Chris. He definitely ain't stopping it by himself.
No siree, just no AoE damage coming out from him, obviously. And it's even risky for him to even think about showing himself right there. I think he just wants to leech the experience.
Did they see him go in? No, they didn't see him go in.
I don't think so.
I thought with the night vision they might have, but...
Yeah, he just wants to get the experience down here, that's all. Which,
with the tornadoes, they're not... Miguel's not sneaking up on them either, and he's not level 6, and... EGM? Is he gonna hunt for him? Oh, it's almost like he knows. I feel like he knows, but I'm not quite sure. Loda's gonna come with a Lucid Beam. No, maybe he doesn't.
If he was really, really paying attention, he'd see the one tree that's cut down right there. But that's a pretty obscure thing to notice.
Yeah, and it's not like you're not looking for other stuff elsewhere on the map. You're checking the lanes, you're checking heroes' inventories constantly. Do they have TP scrolls? So that would be pretty intense. But they do have level 7 on Zeus here. Centaur ult's coming soon. Sure, the Spectre doesn't have that many items, but he's got his Haunt. And Ancient Apparition, I think that's the main thing they're lacking, is his ultimate, but they're almost ready to start going for pickoffs. Almost there.
Ooh, mid lane, Fada.
Oh, not again. S4 is just feasting on this Zeus mid, bottling up, but one more auto take. Oh, it's just enough. The TP wasn't there. Meanwhile, bottom lane, the Centaur, Miguel's gonna just die. Goes down to Loda and EGM, and Pasa's just sitting in the trees through it all. He's just watching while his teammates die. All he wants to do is leech this level 6, but while it's happening, the world is burning all around him.
I think all he wants to do is leave, but he knows Loda would just kill him if he walked out.
Now he's missing the experience, yeah. And now they go in mid. They'll find Matt as well. 6-2. Well, you're up against Global. You need to shut them down early. They're shutting them down early. Up 3k gold, up 3k experience. And the Spectre just hasn't been a factor yet. Only 9 minutes in. If you go for like that early phase into Bracer, I mean, he would have his phase drums now if he went that build, almost. He'd basically have it.
Radiant's top
and that's where he could actually join fights. Maybe he haunts in bottom, they go for a Loda kill, they kill EGM when he's low there, but without the Spectre getting involved, they can't really take the fights yet.
Dire's middle tower.
Yeah, not until they either have the Spectre ready to fight or the AA has his level 6. And Bulldog, I think, is actually going to be a pretty big factor in this mid game. He got the nice early Arcane Boots. He had those about 8.5 minutes. Just pulled off his first Vendetta gank in mid. Helped to pick off Mad. So he's sitting at level 7 with Arcane Boots on an offlane Nyx at about 10 minutes, and he can make a whole lot happen. because there's some reasonably squishy heroes coming out on Sigma, especially if he keeps slowing down the Zeus, if he finds the Ancient Apparition a little bit. He could really slow down this global strat quite a lot.
Uh-oh. This will be the death of bottom mid. The EMP tornado comes. Actually, with the Centaur ult, isn't enough. One more right click it is. S4 picks up the solo kill. They'd actually smoked, and meanwhile bottom lane, the other smoke gang connects. Sigma, they bring down Luna, so a carry for Zeus. Not a bad trade for Sigma. They did invest a little bit more, and now Alliance might go for the push, and that's where it's not the best trade if they take this tier 1 down mid, but Sigma, can they defend? That's going to be the big question. No Ancient Apparition ult just yet.
And they've got the Spectre ulti, but I don't think she'd want to haunt in. I think she would just die, so all they would get out of that is maybe some Desolate damage, but they're pretty tightly clumped.
There's already a 4-step on S4, and he's level 11, and he didn't go for the Midas. Fana TP's in, and immediately gets Cold Snap. The Tornado drops. They bait out the Spectre Haunt, who jumps in, but doesn't have the drums. He's a bit squishy to be diving, but Miguel goes for the stop. He'll connect. Suddenly the Eclipse is there, and it's only hitting heroes. Those are all Radiant creeps. Toxic on the way out. Miguel on the way out. They've lost 2. They're probably losing 3 here, as Posh just gets run down by S4. There was a Hex available. Mad didn't use it. Now he drops it, but it's too late. It's going to be 4 dead. Impale jams it in. The lone survivor is Sakshka. And Bulldog with the triple kill. Almost has his blink after that one fight. He had like 300 gold. Now he's got 1600. Oh boy.
This Nyx, man. This Nyx is going to be such a huge force. Especially now that with heroes falling behind, man, that's the worst situation to be in against a Nyx assassin. If he's over-leveled and you're under-leveled, what do you do? I mean, when he gets a blink in like 2 or 3 minutes from now, with 1 or 2 more good ganks, what do you even do against that? As this like level 5 AA
is under attack.
I mean, and the other thing is like he can't even afford sentries too easily. Sure, he can buy 1 pair soon, but you know, if he misplaces them, you can't have the sentries everywhere. Who's gonna buy a gem? I don't see them. Maybe sure they've got the Zeus ult to reveal invis, but you don't want to just use that preemptively for no reason. They need the damage, so oh boy, they're in a pickle here. And I feel like and not all of it goes back to the Sakshka Midas, but him going for the early Midas and the Ancient Apparition just not getting a fast level 6, the combination has really hurt them.
Yeah, they do have the level 6 now on the AA though, so we gotta see if they can make something happen. Obviously, you know, they're a bit on the level. This is
he popped his ult though, that's gonna bring the team in quickly. Ancient Apparition supply. It's not gonna hit on anyone except for Bulldog, and well, Bulldog might fall here. And at that point, it's a 1-for-1, and they've baited out quite a few ults. He's trying to deny himself the creeps, but there's no creeps to be had. And Bulldog drops the 522 gold. The only thing greater than 322 is 522. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Ake's come in. They found out Sakshka. The trap's there. The stomps followed up, and they'll get the Spectre kill. Oh boy. You go Midas, and it is cooling down now, so I guess that's the one good piece of news, but meanwhile, Loda is just feasting on him. 8k net worth, already 2.5 ahead, and top lane. What have they just not done? This relentless aggression from Alliance. S4 is on a mega kill, 5-1 and 6.
Scarcely worth my notice.
And this is why when you run Zeus mid, it's just a hard game. Like, Zeus isn't supposed to win his lane, but it gets hard not to desperately lose your lane when Ake's playing this Chen so well and S4 is sitting there to set him up.
Well, yeah, especially against an Invoker who's just so strong right now in the laning phase. And, you know, obviously the Chen rotations as well, as you mentioned. You know, I wouldn't feel that bad about the position Sigma is in if it wasn't for the fact that Loda is farming so incredibly efficiently. He's got almost 100 CS at 14 minutes, and he's sitting on a Midas.
Yeah, he doesn't have an ancient stack, though. I will say that. Has he actually been sending his dominating creep around with Ake? Yeah, I think Ake's just been controlling it. Yeah, he's got this army of 4 creeps.
So Ake just has 4 creeps now.
Oh, and this is like the perfect combination for ganks. You've got the Troll Trap initiation, and then the triple Centaur Stomp follow-up.
That's so mean.
Ake's got his hands full, but if anyone can pull this combo off, it'll be Ake. And they'll smoke now, and they did it just out of vision of this Dire Observer. There's a lane ward mid, but it doesn't see that far, and now they strike a road towards top. Sakshka might narrowly dodge this gank. Even if they don't connect on the gank, though, they can basically just gank the tier 2. They're pushing here with the Invoker. They'll take a tier 2, maybe Sigma gets a tier 1 in return, but they want hero kills, and oh boy, they're gonna find one. Or are they? Lucent Beam? Now you're Impale, follow up, the trap's there, the stomp, 1, 2, and doesn't even need to use the last one. Easy pickings.
Now you have Luna Aura and
Radiant's
3
bottom
centaurs
tower
and
is under
troll
attack.
summons to take down this tower.
Radiant
This is just, oh
structures are
man.
He
fortified.
can threaten high ground here, I feel like.
Dire's
At
middle
least
tower
chip away
is
at the
under
tier
attack.
3. They'll dodge. They're anticipating this ancient apparition ult. They'll dodge away from it. And now they come right back in. At least what they'll be able to do is
Dire's
force Sigma to
middle
TP
tower
out, and
has
then they can
fallen.
just go farm their woods, steal
Radiant's
their
bottom
ancient.
tower
But we'll
has
see if they
fallen.
even back. They know the ancient apparition ult's on cooldown. Maybe they just break the base.
Yeah, I think with the AA ult down, they can. I mean, that's the big deterrent right here, is the AA ultimate. I mean, you've got the Zeus ultimate, you've got the Zeus nukes, but I don't think that's enough.
Their ult gets popped, and they'll try and turn this one around. Bulldog, however, impales Miguel on the backside, and the Centaurs surround the Centaur. Who's gonna prevail? He's still alive. The Zeus ult gets popped. It might be Alliance on the way out here. The Ancient Apparition ult has cooled down. Can he find a pickoff? There's quite a few low HP heroes, but they're just a little hesitant. The Spectre comes in, the Spectre backs off,
Dire's top
and he's
tower
gonna
is
fire the
under
ult in the
attack.
end. Not gonna hit anything. Oh boy, now a cold snap. They were counting on that ult to connect. It got nothing but air, and now 3 heroes dead. Make it 4. Your Ancient Apparition will be next. S4 4 steps himself in.
Radiant's bottom tower
Unstoppable
is under
indeed.
attack.
6-1 and 8. The Alliance might settle for that,
Dire's
but
top
they've
tower
settled for
is
quite a
under
lot.
attack.
Yeah,
That's correct.
only because of the Shadow
Radiant's
Shaman wards and
bottom
how much
tower
damage
is
they did to
under
Loda
attack.
was that not even more brutal. I mean, Loda went in really, really hard at the start of that, got himself trapped behind the wards. They tried to save him with a Force Staff, but he had just gone in just a little bit too ham. But at the same time, you traded Loda for what, 3 kills and tower damage? I think Alliance will be pretty happy.
And some of these cooldowns, like, I guess they're not the longest cooldowns, but Haunt was it? No, you know, I think it was used earlier. Not in that fight, but either way, Haunt's on cooldown for now, and Alliance are gonna look to just steal the enemy woods. They'll basically take this over while they farm their own here with Lotus, so they're just
Dire's
taking
top
more
tower
off the map.
is
It's
under
kind of your
attack.
classic Alliance, even going back to before TI3. And Sigma will smoke. They'll try and catch S4, but he's a slippery one when they get the initiation. If they get this Hex, I think they get the kill. Nicely done. They're going to catch on S4. He 4 steps away, but not before the Stomp comes in. He's still got Tornado. That won't matter. That's a much-needed kill. Ends the streak. 800 gold into their pockets. And it went to the Shadow Shaman. Well, that
Yeah.
could be his Blink Dagger soon.
Yeah, I mean, you would have hoped that would go maybe to the Centaur to help pick him up, because he is having a rough game. Mega, all he's got is Tranquils and a stout shield right now.
I like how this Midas Rush, like, fairly farmed Spectre walks into the Chen. He gets troll trapped, he hits a Test of Fate, and he immediately turns tail and run. And now Bulldog's on the move. Admiral Radon at your service. Looking for the backstab here. He's got the Blink Dagger. This could be a terrible initiation. And Fada's in the front lines. Who's gonna get caught? The trap comes out. Bulldog's still waiting on the sidelines of the fight. Has not committed just yet. Is Vendetta cooling down soon? It's not. So he'll just hide in the trees. The double damage run ends. But he wants to make a go here. There's no Centaur ult. They're all quite slow in the retreat. And Bulldog blinks in, catches Miguel mid-TP. That'll be the death of Miguel. Well, it'll only be a Centaur, so not the biggest loss. But a loss
Could certainly be
nonetheless.
worse. Yeah, he's not exactly playing a particularly core role. I mentioned he's kind of far behind. He's sitting 1 and 6. Poor guy. But Fada 2 and 7. Wow. And they got the Shadow Shaman.
S4's just running around solo killing fools. Like, Jesus Christ, man. He's strong right now. Max Wex. Now he gets the point Exhort, so now he's got access to his Deafening Blast, his Ice Wall, his
Dire's
Alacrity
top
for this
tower
very
is
farm
under
Luna.
attack.
And the push will mount, and they'll just pop the Alacrity on Loda, hitting for almost, well, over 180 damage, getting close to the
Dire's top
200 mark.
tower has
A
fallen.
pop. That's the last, well, second to last outer tower. They've still got a tier 2 bottom, but Alliance simply don't care. They're building towards a Veil here on EGM, and they're looking to break this base right now. They'll at least force out these ultimates. Fada's got to be careful. There's Sentry Ward spotting out Admiral Radon, but there's also no Blink. He goes for the Impale. He will miss.
That would have been a free kill right there. You had S4 just sneaking in from the side.
Zeus is so poor, it's outrageous. He's got 4k net worth as their solo mid. He has nothing. Arcane Boots and level 2 ultimate. He might as well sit at the well, because if he joins the fights, he's just gonna die.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with Zeus. If you're not getting any sort of kills in the lanes, what are you going to do with him? It's not like he's ever going to outfarm anyone in a lane. You need to get kills and be active, and there's just been so much pressure on Sigma, and especially on Fada. He's been a prime target for all of their ganks that he's never been able to get rid of himself.
Another solo kill attempt from S4, but this time, there's backup. It's the Centaur who airballs the stop. He ghost walks to freedom, and with Max Wex, he's moving almost at 522 move speed. Boy, he is a fast one. And now they'll go Roche. They baited up the Centaur ult. Even the Spectre Haunt was used for that, so that's just a free Roche.
Yeah,
That's
the only
disaster.
deterrent is the AA ultimate, but even then, they wouldn't even be able to follow it up.
It's gonna hurt a bit here, though. There's no pipe yet, but it's only a level 1 ultimate. There's no eggs. There won't be an egg for a long time. So maybe lose a quarter of health on, quarter HP on each. And now they want to go on to Miguel here. The Paints come out from S4. He's farming the wood. Still no Blink Dagger for him either. All of these heroes, aside from Spectre, are just... they've got the bottom 4 farmers.
They're dirt poor.
They're dirt poor
depressing.
indeed. That is the perfect word.
Oh, it looks like they're gonna catch Sox.
That's the worst feeling, is when you see that Ghost Walk animation and you know he's onto you. They're not gonna go with the Tornado, though. They've driven him out. They know he has no mana. Can't even TP back for a little while. And now they're just gonna look to break the base. Plus, he doesn't have Haunt. Let him stay there. Who cares? Just go base. Alliance, objective base Dota from Alliance here.
Hey man, if there's anyone who knows how to focus on objectives, it's Alliance. I think they've taught us that plenty over the past year or so.
Radiant's top
Yes.
tower is
Kill
under
the Ancient.
attack.
Forget about the hero kills. Space race if you must. Rat if you must. Do what it takes for the GG. That's been Alliance. And now they'll look to break the space. The wards get dropped. They're going to Hex up Loda, but remember, this time he's got Aegis. Not an easy hero to go on. They'll throw out the EMP Tornado. It will connect on the Centaur and the Shadow Shaman. Now it's a ward. It's a ward war. The Shadow Shaman wards towards the north side. The Venom wards to the south, but it's the Luna who just breaks through them all. Busts them open. Centaur's healing up at the Quell, and so too is the Shadow Shaman. They almost died to that Venomancer ult. And the Glaives start bouncing through. H Apparition ult comes in. It will connect on 3. It's a good ult. They got their Zeus ult follow-up, but the BKB from Loda Glaives are just gonna murder Fada. He wanted to run in. He wanted to make a play. Well, he makes one, but it's a play for the Alliance. They'll take their first light of Rex. 21 minutes in. And there's a frigging Scythe of Vice already out.
S4, man, this game, he has just been an absolute monster. Crazy farm in the mid lane, crazy ganks all over the place. 22 minutes Scythe, no big deal. Just kind of standard S4. Oh, that had to be a pretty satisfying BKB reveal for Loda, too. You know, you got the Zeus coming out, you have the AA ult on you. It's like, oh, he thinks he's about to blow me up. Nope, not today.
My favorite part was how the Zeus just, like, was dying to Glaives. Like, the BKB was a nice touch, but he still had Aegis anyway, and now the Manta comes out. That's just sad. That's not solo mid who died to the Glaives. They'll blink it with Miguel, but they dodge away beautifully, and now it just doesn't look like they've got the damage up. But even with the H Apparition ult, Sigma Arts is getting melted. Loda's still got Aegis. He'll pop it now. Maybe they bring down Bulldog on the way out. They will do so. He shatters in the end of the H Apparition. Now the Luna comes back. There's a buyback from the Spectre. But he already used the Haunt here. So how much does his buyback do? They just keep on working on these wrecks. Buyback for the Veno. Buyback for the Nyx. They know Sigma's all out of ultimates. The global threat is eliminated. It's just done for now. And they'll just break this base. This will be the second lane of Rex. The Glaives keep on bouncing. Loda, he's trying to farm some kills here. And the EMP Tornado connects. It will be on the Fada. BKB from Loda. Easy, easy, easy kills. Easy rares for the Alliance fans as well. That's 2 lanes of Rex. 26 to 9 your score. There's another H Apparition ult, connects on Loda. Maybe they get some cleanup kills here, but that's going to be about it. Miguel, he'll drop. Now Bulldog, he gets more chat, but 4-steps himself out. He'll go down. Bulldog racking up the feeds here. It doesn't matter, though. They actually lose 4, but it's after 2 lane of Rex and multiple buybacks, and in the end, just well worth it for the Alliance.
Yeah, I feel like Spectre or no Spectre, you gotta feel pretty bad about this game if you're Sigma. I don't expect them to tap out because, of course, it is such an important game in terms of the standings, and there is always that chance of a throw and that chance that maybe you get this epic Spectre comeback.
Are you seeing this? He's diving him at the well. He's gonna snipe him too. Oh my God. S4. 4v1. He goes into the enemy well. 1v4, I should say. And he lives to tell the tale. And they even blow a Centaur in frustration for this. But he's already 4-staffed himself over the cliff. Jesus.
That is demoralizing.
He just dove them to the well, baited out a Centaur ult, baited out an additional sentry, and he wants to go back in. He's not even done yet.
He's just so farmed. Dude, he's like, and you know what's scary? He's like, you look at him, he's got 13,000 net worth, he's got this ridiculous farm in 24 minutes. Look at Loda's net worth, 17,000 almost. These guys are crazy farmed. The 9,000 Spectre is the highest on Sigma, and that is the only person who is not just below the entire team of Alliance.
And 25% of his net worth is a Midas on Spectre,
Yeah.
a hero that doesn't really benefit much from the attack speed, and is basically just there for the gold and the level. So, well, the
And now he's going
Spectre,
Blade Mail?
the Spectre's really effectively worth like 6,000-7,000, I feel. They'll actually force out a Spectre ult here, but they're going for S4, who's still got Hex available, whose Invoke is cooling down quickly, as he's already got the
Dire's middle
max
tower
rank
is
is
under
Invoke.
attack.
They're gonna blow everything. They don't even get a kill.
So I don't love the Blade Mail on Spectre. I feel like if you're this desperate, you need to go for something a little bit less kind of gimmicky and
I
defensive.
just feel it doesn't matter
Yeah,
what he goes
yeah.
for.
I mean, Loda thinks it doesn't matter. He's gone Maelstrom.
Oh boy.
Dire's
Well,
middle
maybe he's been
tower
watching
is
some
under
Eternal
attack.
Envy games here. But yeah,
Farm them creeps, man.
yeah, it's just let's just win now. Buy whatever you can afford, boys. Wrap it up mid. Go for the win. They'll go for the Stomp here. Can they burst them down in time? Even through the Zoom, it's time that the EGM original. Just a bit too late, but it will shatter these supports. EGM will fall, but it's all about the cleanup from the cores. Loda's diving. They brought down 3. Make it 4. Make it 5. It's just too easy for the Alliance. GG. 33-15. Well, Sigma, one of their first matches with the big boys in StarLadder. They've played a lot of these weaker teams so far on route to their 7-2, and now they've got to play Alliance, and they now drop to 7-3. Alliance 11-3. So, with this win, Alliance they shore up a potential first place finish through the group stage.
Yeah, you know, it was an interesting draft from Sigma. I liked the potential of it. It just wasn't, obviously didn't quite get executed the way they wanted to.